The Arizona Cardinals beat the New Orleans Saints by a score of 42-34 on Thursday Night Football. Here are my observations from the game. First, Eno Benjamin is for real. He ran the ball 12 times for 92 yards and 1 touchdown, averaged 7.7 yards per carry, with one of his runs going for 45 yards. Eno ran hard, broke tackles, made some really great plays. And he also added 4 catches for 21 yards. Cliff Kingsbury was raving about Eno Benjamin in the preseason, and we had seen some nice plays from him. But this was the best all-around game we've seen from Eno, and Eno is a legitimate NFL running back. My next observation is that DeAndre Hopkins is back. He had 10 receptions for 103 yards. He didn't have any touchdowns, but it was nice to see him as an active part of this offense. And there didn't seem to be any rust that had to be knocked off. He picked up right where he had left off. My next observation is that Kyler was good, but not as good as he can be. He was 20 of 29 with 204 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and a passer rating of 100.4. He also ran the ball 7 times for 30 yards. It was a solid game. He didn't turn over the ball, limited the mistakes, but it wasn't the kind of performance we know he can have. It was nice to get the win, and Kyler did a good job overall, but we're still waiting for that 300 yards, 3 touchdown game from Kyler. He has the arm talent to do it, but it just hasn't been working out. I know some people will think I'm nitpicking because we won the game. I'm a big believer in Kyler. I think he has the arm talent to be elite, and he had a decent game, but I want to see him live up to that potential. But my next observation is still, this was the best performance this offense has had all season. They put up 28 points, kept the ball going, ran the ball really well, and as bad as this offense has looked, especially last week against Seattle, this was definitely a much better game by this offense. Now on the defensive side of the ball, the team made some really big plays. 3 interceptions, 2 of them going for touchdowns. But they also gave up 494 yards of offense and let the Saints score 34 points. They did hold the Saints to 85 yards rushing, but a lot of that was due to game script. The Saints were behind and they were passing the ball more to get back into the game. The defense made some nice plays that helped this team to win, but they also got picked apart by Andy Dalton and the Saints offense. Again, it's a win. I don't want to nitpick, but this defense was giving up less than 20 points a game recently. But those big plays were exciting and they were a key part of this win. Also on the defensive side though, the team did struggle with the pass rush. They did get some pressure and some of that pressure contributed to those interceptions, but they didn't get any sacks this game. Overall, that's been the story of this defense for most games. Pressure, but not a lot of sacks. My next observation is that offensive linemen Billy Price and Cody Ford had solid games. With Justin Pugh suffering a season-ending injury and Rodney Hudson missing this game because of an injury, the Cardinals started Billy Price and Max Garcia as center and guard respectively. Garcia got injured during the game and Cody Ford came in to relieve him, and overall those two played really well, much better than what we saw last week with Harlow and Garcia. With all the injuries this team has experienced on the offensive line, it was nice to see a good performance out of those two. My next observation is what a difference a kicker makes. The Cardinals experienced kicking woes over the last 2 weeks with Matt Amendola, who they signed as an injury replacement for Matt Prater. After missing multiple kicks, they released him and signed Rodrigo Blankenship. Blankenship went 2 for 3 on extra points and went 2 for 2 on field goals, including a 50-yard make. Fans had been clamoring for the Cardinals to sign Blankenship instead of Amendola, and after they finally made that move, it seems to have paid off. My last observation is that this was not a perfect game, but it was a game we needed. It gives the team and the fan base hope. The team is 3-4, which is much different than being 2-5. And if they can build on this offensive performance and string together some wins, they're right back in it for the playoffs. There's a lot of work to do, and this team has to show that this was not just an outlier performance, but for one Thursday night, the Cardinals gave their fan base hope. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Cardinal Rule.